Ghosts. Entities that roam around our homes as if they own them. They walk your halls, mess with your stuff, and sit on your bed while you're asleep. We try not to taunt them or speak their names aloud until, of course, they decide to reveal themselves. Ghosts are not to be taken lightly, Crimson Peak warned us. And oh man, after these chilling stories, you'll understand why. Welcome to another episode of Chilean Spooky Tales. I'm Michelle, your host, and let's dive in.
Chilean Spooky Tales.
The following stories have been gathered by word of mouth from 3 different people. Details such as names and places have been changed. In 2016, my 30-ish female cousin moved into our grandparents' house. Our grandfather had recently passed away, and that meant that from then on, Grandma would be living on her own. Sophia, as we're gonna call my cousin, didn't have a phone, so she borrowed an old one that nobody was using because it belonged to Grandpa. Since it was an old phone, she would use it mostly to connect with family and friends. One evening, Sophia got home from work. She entered the house and left her old phone on one huge wooden bookshelf in the living room. Then she went into her room. That day, Grandma wasn't alone. Her sister was visiting, and they were casually chatting when Grandma's phone started ringing. She looked at her phone, and when she saw the caller ID, chills went down her spine. It wasn't a spam number or someone she knew. It was our grandfather's name showing up on the screen. My grandma called Sophia over and showed her the caller ID. Then, the 3 of them looked at each other in silence, thinking about how on earth the phone could be ringing if she didn't even have it with her. It was still on the bookshelf in the living room. They didn't pick up and let the phone go to voicemail. Way back in the 70s, my father and his cousin used to go hunting. They had a golden rule: no drinking while in the woods. So when this happened, he was fully aware of his surroundings. One day, they started their journey with 2 other friends. They were wearing carbide lamps, which were some kind of old lamps that hunters would wear on their heads at the time. They were walking along a dirt road through the woods, and at the end of it was a wooden gate, meant to keep the cattle from wandering around. As they got closer, he saw a bunch of children playing and climbing up and down the gate. He thought to himself that it was strange to see children at that time of the night. It was around 2 a.m. They kept walking when the children jumped up the gate and ran in a line to hide in a corner and disappear.
Hello.
Follow us for more spooky tales.
When I was 14, I used to go to my cousin's house in Peñaflor. We are like sisters, and I already knew that strange things happened there, but I hadn't experienced anything at that point. One day, my cousin and I got in bed and she fell asleep immediately, but I stayed awake. And I started hearing like someone was scratching the walls and ceiling. My heart started racing, and I sunk in the bed while listening to it. Then I started hearing as if there was someone in the room with us, running in circles, as if they were locked in and couldn't get out. I was so spooked that I let out a scream. And my aunt came from her room to ask me what was going on. She brought a Bible with her and we prayed. Sometime later, I visited my cousins again. My cousin told me to sleep in that room again, but of course I didn't want to. So I snuck into the master bedroom and slept next to my 3 other cousins in the big bed. No one was gonna get me out of there, and my cousin's friend, who didn't fit in the bed with us, had to sleep in the other room where these events happened. The next day, when we woke up, nobody had mentioned what had happened. But my cousin's friend, Valeria, said, "Last night I woke up and the lights were on in the whole house, even in my room and the kitchen, so I had to get up to turn them off. Then I felt like there was someone walking in my room. I didn't say a word because I didn't want to scare her, and I realized it was the same I'd experienced. That house was so strange that my aunt would always have to call a priest to come and pray. Whatever it was, I don't want to encounter it ever again." If you think ghosts are the only entities that can scare you, I wouldn't be so sure. Stay tuned to listen to our next episode on living stuffed animals. Make sure to subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. Thanks for listening to Chilean Spooky Tales. Have a nice one. Bye bye.